Hello, hello, ladies. I'm just double checking everything's working. Yes, cool, cool. All right, we are live in the Girls Facebook group and also live here in Zoom. I'm so excited for today. Super pumped. I was so excited. Got up extra early. Nice and early here in Perth. We had a nice warm day yesterday. I think it hit 41, 42 as the maximum. So that was definitely interesting. Yeah, so today's a little bit cooler, which is good. For those of you that missed yesterday and are joining me live today, would love to hear from you. Please share in the chat whereabouts you're joining from. And if you haven't already, let me know if you've got a copy of today's worksheet, how you went with yesterday's worksheet. Before I start today, I wanted to just quickly cover some of the responses that we got from the worksheet for women that did the worksheet yesterday. And I just read through some more conversations happening in the chat. If you would like to be part of the chat and you haven't found the chat, let me know. It should be in your emails, but happy to send through to you. The way that works is that in the morning, I go live 5:30 a.m. Perth time, and at the end of the session, just a little bit of homework, so stuff to do during the day, stuff that doesn't take very long. But today I'm really excited about our session because I actually got to read what some of you had realized. Is that the right word? Yeah. What you'd realized and noticed about what came up when you were doing your homework, okay? Two ladies were actually talking about something that I hear a lot, but most likely had brought it up out loud and then had that realization other people felt the same, right? What that was this rebellion mode. And that when they try any kind of restriction or a diet or anything like that, that brings up stuff that they feel quite triggered. And I just want you to know that it's not like there's something actually wrong with you because of the work that I do. I do hear it a lot. But I wanted to give a bit of clarity on that. And it's that a lot referring to what we were talking about yesterday, and we're still going to be talking about for the rest of this week. And that's about the nervous system. And our nervous system is protecting us, okay? When you restrict food, your brain thinks there's a famine, okay? And it's going to trigger that cortisol. And whenever we have releases and spikes in our cortisol, it's going to make us crave food even more and put those food cravings and that food noise like on overdrive. And it will feel like nothing's really enough when it comes to feeling full or satisfied. And the thing that's frustrating is most of the time we think it's something wrong with us, like we're not disciplined enough, we're weak. But what is actually happening is our body is doing exactly what it's designed to do. And that's why I talk about the nervous system as part of your metabolism reset method. Okay. I do think it's really quite important because there's a lot that you don't realize is happening within the body. Because when we look at losing weight, we're so caught up in our body and our body shape that we don't think about, and it being connected to food, that we don't think about what we're actually doing to the body. Another lady mentioned how in her homework, how she skips meals and drinks a lot of coffee. And that's another example of how there's a lot of, and I'm going to talk into this today, there is a lot of conversation about fasting and reducing the amount of food that you eat. But what can happen is even when you think that certain things are healthy habits, they can be working against you. That's why diets are designed for a huge number of people, anything really, but we're also different and unique. And if you're doing something like fasting and it doesn't suit you, which is very common as you see in women as they get older, that the body doesn't actually like fasting as much as it maybe did in your 30s and 20s. And as we get older, we see that it doesn't. When we skip breakfast and we drink caffeine on an empty stomach, you're again creating that cortisol spike in your body. And that elevated cortisol, it tells your body to store fat, especially around the middle. So when you finally decide to go and eat some food, your blood sugar will crash and it will crave more food. And so then what I hear a lot of is women saying, I'm really hungry at night. I have no appetite during the day, but at night I'm starving. Okay. So that's something that's very common. Someone else mentioned that they have insulin resistance and PCOS. Look, this is important because it's actually a medical condition and it's not about eating less or exercising more. It's really about understanding how your body is processing that insulin, which is what we were talking about before yesterday, and actually managing inflammation, which we're going to be talking about today. Your body is different when you're dealing with different kinds of health issues, and you might find that your metabolism is going to behave differently as well. And so, in that regard, we want to be looking at different approaches. And that's why when you work with someone, you want to be working with someone if you decide to, or when you go and look into things, you want to be looking at things that are uniquely to you, not someone who's just talking about things in general, because that is different. Okay. So, what came up in a lot of people's homework was lifelong struggles with food, and it's stemming back to the childhood. If you want to, you are most welcome to comment your homework in the chat, in the weight loss chat, or below if you're in the Facebook group. And what I hear a lot of is my weight has dropped a lot, and then I put on a lot, and then I dropped a lot, and then perimenopause and menopause, and now I've put the weight back on. And again, this is what I was speaking into yesterday. Yes, it has a lot of the effect, but it's not everything. Hormones aren't everything. So let me know if this is making sense, and I'm definitely going to be reading through the chat. But it makes it so much easier if I hear from you as well. I've got Facebook up today so I can be able to see everything and see if there's anything coming up, which is good. Looks like some more comments in there. So yeah, what we're really wanting to do is we're wanting to get a better understanding of what's going on, get a better understanding of what's actually happening for each unique person. Okay. All right. So today is day 2. We're talking about holistic nutrition. I want to know how you went yesterday with your water. Please share. Did you find it easy or hard to drink 2 liters of water? And I want to hear, if water is easy for you, is that because you're already drinking a lot of water and it's not something that you struggle with? Okay. When we talk about nutrition, a lot of people visualize the most healthiest food. They visualize like eating like a rabbit, or things being really hard when it comes to food. It's hard work being healthy. It's actually not. And I'm going to cover that with you and show that to you. And just see if anyone's commenting in the chat. So what I'm wanting to hear is, did you do your first bit of homework yesterday? Did you drink your 2 liters of water? Yeah. Okay. Pop in the chat if you hit your water goal yesterday, or if you found it hard. What did you find hard about it? Yeah. Come on. Great, but very difficult. Yeah, I can get that. Yeah. 2.5 liters. It was easy. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So some people already drinking that amount of water, and some ladies who found it quite challenging. I find it really easy to drink lots of water. I have really good water filter, but also I've trained my body to crave the water, so I don't have to think about it. It's there. It's something I teach my clients all the time. This is your best friend, your drink bottle. Take it with you everywhere you go. It's your bestie. Just take it with you everywhere. And get into the habit of, I always say to my clients, I never leave my room, whatever room I'm in, lounge room, bedroom, my office, never leave the room without my water bottle. And you get into that habit of taking it with you everywhere. All right, let's get into it. Okay. Most women are on a blood sugar roller coaster all day. Okay, so you eat something sugary or carb heavy and your blood sugar spikes and you get quick burst of energy, and then you absolutely crash. When it crashes, your body releases cortisol and it tells your body to store the fat. And it, in a lot of cases, makes you crave food, sugar. It's a vicious cycle, and I want to help you get off this roller coaster. One of the things that happens a lot is how you start your day. And I'm going to go into that in a minute. But think about how you start your day and what you do first thing in the morning. Do you drink water? Does the water bottle come out first thing in the morning? Are you drinking water when you wake up? Or are you racing to put that kettle on or that coffee machine on and make your coffee? Yeah. And also, what are you choosing to have for breakfast? Are you skipping breakfast, or is breakfast consisting of, say, like toast or cereal or a muffin? What's happening is when we wake up in the morning, there isn't that beautiful, calm start to the day for a lot of us. It's usually a rush. I've got to get stuff done, right? There's lots to do, and there's things that we need to get done before we get to work. And what's happening is our body is responding accordingly. And this starts from the moment we wake up to the time we go to sleep. This is not helping us. This is generally a cause of cravings and that belly fat. Like, I've worked with women. Years ago, I worked with women. I used to help women with body composition and bodybuilding. I've moved away from that because it wasn't in alignment with my goals and values around food and body. And I realized women will do anything to lose weight, anything, including starving themselves, which is very common. But what I realized is that for women, women are quite easily can skip meals, quite easily can, and I say that generally, obviously, I'm not speaking specifically, but you will find a way to hit goals if that's what's needed, if there's a big enough why, and just go without. And the body gets so confused, and it's quite easy to drink a lot of coffee and just keep your body going throughout the day. As we get older, our body doesn't handle it anymore. So what I do here is women that say to me, oh, like I used to be able to go all day without eating, and I don't know if it works for me anymore. Probably not. Your body will adjust all the time to whatever you're doing till a certain extent, and then it gets to the point where it's not the same. And so yesterday we were talking about hormones, and we were talking about as our hormones change, our body changes. It doesn't work the same way. And so the things we did in the past doesn't work anymore. So if you're still looking at what you did in the past and expecting it to be the same, it doesn't. We're always evolving and changing. Anyway, getting back to what I was talking about, when it comes to the women I used to work with, when I first started my first few years of coaching, I've been doing it 10 years. The first couple of years, I got really excited being able to see women in stuff like bodybuilding, body composition work, because there's this physique and this idea of what we think the body's going to look like, which is not the case, but that's where I was at, right? I was in my mid to late 30s then. What it was became apparent was women can strip fat from their bodies, but it's so much harder around the belly, especially if you've carried children as well. And when women are addressing the food so much and ignoring the belly, they're not looking into what's actually going on. It's still about food restriction and exercise, diet and movement, okay? And if you look at how your blood sugar works, you're going to be able to see quite easily that the body is very confused. It's trying to do what it needs to do to compensate with what you're doing with it throughout the day. But if you're constantly having sugar spikes, the body is going to get confused. It's going to do what it does best, okay? And it's going to store that fat, and it's going to crave that sugar more. Think about, do you have that donut shape around your tummy area? If so, have you looked at your blood sugar? Have you looked at your habits around that? The fastest way to get off this roller coaster of that we create throughout the day is to have a better balance of what you're eating. Now, before I go into this, I just want to say, as a coach, and I've just talked to you about how I started coaching, what I do with my clients now is I never tell my clients what to eat, because we go through a discovery process of figuring out what's good for everybody. If I tell you to eat what I'm eating, who says that's the right thing for you if my body's totally different, if I'm a different age, if my body's reaction to blood cortisol is different? Like, everybody is different, and we've got to figure out uniquely what is going on for ourselves. The other thing is, I don't believe in calorie counting and weighing food. You might, and it might work for you. This is not what I'm teaching and coaching you on this week. I'm teaching and coaching you on a metabolism reset method that I've seen women just drop weight without even, they're like, I didn't know it could be this easy. And that's because we're addressing the root cause. And that's what we're doing this week. We're addressing the root cause. But when it comes to food, and this is what came up in a lot of the ladies' homework, right? Was that I don't want to feel like I'm on a diet. So how do we have that balance of not wanting to be on a diet, but knowing we're getting the right amount in for us? Now, because I'm not working with you right now, or maybe there's some clients here, I'm not sure, watching, but unless I'm working with you, I don't know your unique circumstances, your age, and everything like that. So I want to give you something that is easy and tangible for you to follow and be able to understand. The fastest way for you to be able to get off that blood sugar roller coaster is to bring in, I keep hitting my microphone, is to bring in protein. Now, one of my clients posted a meme inside our Cheer Squad the other day, and it said, I was never harassed for drugs as a kid as much as I'm harassed to eat protein as a woman in menopause. And I was like, that's a good one. It is the point. The reason why it's such a big deal is because women are moving more and more into carb fueled foods, and not saying carbs are bad, because we eat carbs. The clients that work with me, we eat carbs, but it's about the balance. Okay. It's about finding the balance. And a lot of times women don't understand the importance of protein. So what I've done is I've created something for you to be able to go away and do your homework today. And that is to give you something that is not a measurable thing, as in weighing and counting calories, but just looking at a size of protein. Okay. So if you used your palm as a size of protein for each meal today, protein slows down the absorption of sugar. It's going to keep your blood sugar levels more stable, okay? And so what you are going to experience during the day is no more crashes, no more cravings, no more cortisol spikes. It's that simple. Does this make sense? Let me know. I'm going to talk to you about these the couple of very key components to your holistic nutrition. It's making sense. Great. Cool. Okay, the other thing that I want to talk about is that hidden weight gainer, inflammation. Processed foods, sugar, and like seed oils and stuff like that, they create inflammation in the body. And what happens is, when there's inflammation in the body all the time, your body sees that as a constant state of stress. And obviously, you know what that means now. It means more cortisol and more fat storage. Okay. So when we start looking at how we can swap in and out, so rather than go without and restriction, we start looking at what inflammatory foods are we consuming and what anti-inflammatory foods can we swap over. And I'm going to give you some examples of food in a minute. I'm very aware that I need to speed things up. So just bear with me for another 5 minutes. This is something that I feel really passionate about, and I got right into food labels and understanding food labels and really understanding how much inflammation is in food. Because here's the thing, right? A lot of you already know that having takeaway and Uber Eats and that sort of food, it creates inflammation. You have that awareness. So there's an awareness there. For some of you, that's something that's still in your lives. And for some of you, maybe you don't. Maybe you're making a lot of your food from scratch at home. Great. But maybe there are things that are in your diet, or I hate the word diet, they're in your choice of eating that is actually creating inflammation that you're not aware of. And this is the thing that I have with the calorie in versus calorie out, and why a lot of women come and work with me that have tried everything and every diet under the sun, every kind of medication, weight loss surgery, injections. I'm speaking to women every day, because it's not getting to the root cause. And a lot of the times there's still inflammation in the diet. So the weight creeps back on, or the body's struggling with all this inflammation that's happening. Think about, if certain foods are good and certain foods are not good, do you know what foods that are good and not good? Hopefully I'm not confusing you. And I've decided late last night to add to this and actually show you exactly what I mean, right? Because I feel so excited about sharing this. The inflammation that you may not realize. And I'm showing these examples because I want to show you the things that are marketed to you as healthy, but for some of you, and more likely for a lot of you, it's causing inflammation and some blood sugar chaos in your body. So the first example is, and breakfast cereals. Generally for a lot of women, they know they're looking for whole grain and high fiber on the box. And I don't know how many of you turn the box over and actually look at the ingredients and see what it says, okay? And maybe you do make some swaps accordingly. But I want to put something to you. Have you looked into the fact that a lot of these grains are actually processed and include seed oils in there as well, or include ingredients that are creating that? What generally will happen is you'll consume your Special K cereals, and I'm just using this as an example. Your blood sugar is going to spike within 30 minutes. So your body will release insulin to bring it back down, which is what we talked about yesterday. But then it crashes so low that you find yourself hungry and irritable around 10, 11 o'clock. Okay, maybe you eat at that time, or maybe you drink another coffee to keep going. When we're consuming things like seed oils, or we're consuming inflammatory foods, we're also disrupting our hormones, and it's making it harder for your body to burn fat. The second one I've done, which is something that I've definitely tried, I'm not here to say something is super bad, because I definitely got on the chia pudding bandwagon. And we know chia seeds are great. They're full of fiber, omega-3s. But here's the problem that's happening with people, with women over 40 that are consuming chia pudding recipes. A lot of times, for them to be palatable, to be taste nice, they're full of a lot of sweeteners. And I make my own recipes for my clients. Like, I'm always doing food testing and stuff like that. You'll be quite surprised, even when we start to look at natural sweeteners like our honey and our good quality maple syrup and dates and stuff like that, you're still adding a lot to be able to taste that. And if you're using things like almond milks and coconut milks and those sort of things, which I'm about to show you something interesting, a lot of them have added gums to it and thickeners that are actually affecting you, which you may not realize. So what you think is a healthy start, a healthy breakfast, may not actually be the case. Overnight oats. This is a big one, because so many women love overnight oats because they find it easy. And I get it. We're looking for ease. We're looking for it to be easier, okay? Oats are a carbohydrate. And for us women over the age of 40, especially if you're dealing with insulin resistance, which is really common and a lot of women don't realize, or maybe you're just having blood sugar issues, oats may cause a big blood sugar spike, and then you're going to crash. So say you're eating your overnight oats at 7 a.m., you might find at 9 a.m. you're feeling exhausted and you're already craving something sweet. So you think your food noise is related to you and you having a problem, right? And then you may think that, oh, I'll just put something sweet on here. And you're most likely making it worse. I'm not saying oats are bad for everybody, but for many women, that are over the age of 40, it's not the best choice first thing in the morning. Yeah? So think about if you wake up and you're eating a bowl of Special K, do you know the main ingredient is rice, white rice, and wheat is in there as well, sugar is in there, vegetable oil is in there, okay, usually from canola oil or sunflower oil. They're inflammatory. It also has flavorings in there and preservatives in there, okay? So when we think about, and these are not whole foods, they say they are, but that's just clever marketing. And I know because I used to do some of this work. We used to contact companies to try and get them to change their packaging or retract. I left that fight for some other women in Australia because after a couple of years, I realized how much it was stressing me out, but it created so much awareness. There's not really that much fiber in something like that to slow down the absorption when you're eating it, when the blood sugar spikes. There's hidden sugars in here and flavorings in here. There's not really much protein in here, even if it says it and markets that. We don't want to be having seed oils. And for a lot of women, actually eating wheat first thing in the morning creates bloating. What I see is thyroid issues. So that first 30 minutes, your blood sugar is spiking. And then for the next 30 to 60 minutes after that, your blood sugar is coming down. So you can see how those cravings and that food noise can happen. And look, Special K, when I studied nutrition, I studied differently than some other people studying nutrition. And then I went and did some extra nutrition courses and qualifications. And I just didn't like it because one of the things you get taught to teach your clients to eat is cereals for breakfast. Yep, cereals for breakfast. I was like, no, I knew that. I knew that was not right. Okay, so let's look at what are the choices that are being presented to us by 20s and 30-year-old fitness fanatics. And maybe if you're working out in the gym every day, your body can handle this. I don't know. But for a lot of us, it doesn't work. Sticking with the inflammation, I wanted to show you something. I wanted to show you 2 almond milks and what you may not realize. I don't know if you can see the ingredients there. I'm going to go through the ingredients and explain to you why it's a problem. Okay, when we look at Milk Lab, what generally happens with milk like Milk Lab, and this is a great milk for if you buy your milk from a cafe because it froths really well. Want to know why it froths really? It has oil in it. It has oil in there twice. If you look at number 2, it says vegetable oil. And if you look at number 5, it says sunflower, which again is another version of oil. So the reason why the milk froths the way it does and is that thick creaminess, and they really knew how to make a real improvement in coffees that are from cafes, is the stuff that they added to it. This is going to spike your blood sugar. This is going to trigger your insulin response. And obviously we know that this is going to contribute towards us storing fat. It's also going to affect our blood sugar crashes that we feel. It's also affecting our gut, okay? And it's in a lot of times connected to inflammation in the body because this is affecting our gut. So then it's harder for us to absorb nutrients. This is also creating more of that hunger and overeating because of the fact that we're choosing things that we think are healthy, which aren't. Yeah. And we've got seed oils in there. What else is in there? Things like maltodextrin, or if you have a look at the almond breeze, it's actually got calcium carbonate in it. Because it's only got 2% of almonds in it, they've put ground limestone in it. If you read the back, it says that. It says ground limestone. So everyone's so caught up in calorie counting, so caught up in look, it says 63 calories on the almond breeze. Everybody's so caught up in that, they're not thinking about the fact that you're literally, it's like they dropped the almonds in there, swished it around. It's not really giving you anything. It's sweetened water. What it is giving you is inflammation and affecting your blood sugar levels. Yeah. And the gums that are in a lot of them are creating bloating. So women are thinking about bloating coming from food when you could start your day with a coffee from the coffee shop, and likely this is affecting you. This is actually creating that. Everyone always says, oh, I love ordering my coffee on the way to work. I get it. But are you aware of what's happening in your body? That's what I want to address. That's what I want you to think about. That's what I want you to be aware of. Because a lot of times you think you're being healthy and you're actually not. All plant-based milks are like this, but a lot of them are. And you're pretty much drinking water with a whole heap of other stuff with it. I nearly swore. I thought, better not. So you're just keeping up that blood sugar spike, insulin surge, and that fat storage. Okay. And then when we have inflammation, we're going to have that belly fat storage. When we damage our gut, our immune system is compromised, and what starts happening is there's a malabsorption problem, and that creates constant hunger. And what does constant hunger create? Overeating, binging, emotional eating. Yeah. Does this help? Please share. Have anyone had any aha moments, any realizations? I'd love to hear. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover with you today's homework. Now, I want you to know that for today's homework, if you haven't already, for today's homework, you're going to monitor what you eat and how you feel. This is a no judgment, just awareness thing. We're going to be looking at patterns, and we're going to look at how food is making you feel. My clients fill out something a lot more detailed when they first start working with me, so that we can get a real indicator of what's going on. A lot of times when you go and see like a health professional, they will ask some very simple questions, and then you don't see them again for a week or a month. When my clients work with me, I look at what they're doing and how they're feeling on a day-to-day basis. Because one day you're feeling totally different than the next. If you've still got periods, you're going to feel different than the next. If you're perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, you're going to be feeling different. Everything's different. Another thing I want to say with all love and kindness is you probably or may notice that this triggers stuff. And I just want you to be gentle with yourself. This is about curiosity. This is about us getting an insight. And by us getting an insight, we have an awareness. And do you know what awareness gives you? It gives you knowledge and understanding. It gives you your power back. We've had a lot of our power taken away from us, being told, do this, do that, follow this, follow that. There's something wrong with you. Why is that not working? Oh, it's just your age. Oh, it's just your hormones. Come on. It's a lot more than that. If it was just that, and I really don't think that is the biggest problem. There is a lot of women that are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, still looking healthy, running up and down the beach. I've seen them on the weekend here in Perth, running up and down the beach. I'm like, that's what I want to do when I'm 70 and 80. I don't know if I want to run up and down the beach, but I want to feel good in my body now and when I'm 70 and 80. This is not just about weight loss. This is about how we can feel. I've worked with women. I can see what women can do for weight loss. This is about getting healthy and weight just falls off. That's great. That's the power. As we go into our homework today, we're going to be really gentle with ourselves, okay? And the other thing you're going to do, I just wanted to remind you, is a palm-sized portion of protein for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you have a snack, maybe you don't need to have a palm size there, but you can add some protein to the snack, okay? I'd love to continue this in the chat. If you are not in the chat, check your emails, send me a DM, and I'll send you a link for it. Let me help you and support you this week. This is what I'm here for. You've got me like for free, which I feel like is pretty cool. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. So I'm just going to quickly check the chat. Yep, it's making sense. Noticing inflammation is a big issue. Yeah. And what you get taught for to how to work with inflammation. Yeah. A lot of the times when you get taught about inflammation, what they're teaching you to eat is not what it's not what you it's yeah. I've got to be mindful of what I'm saying in an open platform here, but I'm happy to carry this discussion elsewhere. Yeah, there's seed oil in oat milk for sure. Actually, oat milk I find is very inflammatory for a lot of women. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying a lot of women, you can, when I work with them, I see how much inflammation it's causing. Oh, okay. Whoever said that about the chat and the Facebook group, can you please send me a message today and I will get you in and get that organized for you. No problem at all. I will get you in the Facebook group and get you in the chat. All right. Good luck for today. I've really enjoyed this and I will speak to you soon. Take care and thank you for joining me.